What is going on, everybody? Nine here, back for the second video of the day. So we're going to go through our distribution update for the week. Basically, walk through all the TCGs, no different than we always do. So good news. I can now click on the One Piece game on the Southern website, as opposed to having to randomly talk about One Piece without something to look at. So OP17 booster boxes. Looks like the orders are due the end of this week. For those of you who do organized play, OP17 is available for organized play, I think, until the end of this week as well, to register on Bandai Plus. So make sure you guys get this in. And, one of the big questions is how much One Piece is going to go to Southern and PhD. Are they going to double the print run? Are they going to smash the market, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And I do know that, and I think I've mentioned this last week, potentially the week before, the direction given was, if you have a customer who has access to GTS or Alliance, please do not solicit for the first, I believe, 3 sets. I don't know that that's a hard and fast rule. What I will say is, if you're a store that's not getting a whole lot of One Piece, changing distributors is not going to change that, because Bandai has their finger on the pulse and they micromanage the allocations for this stuff. So that's not going to help you. The other thing I do want to mention is the reprint quantity of OP13 and EBO3, which is a new heroine set, appears to be very, very tight. And it also appears that Bandai is going to micromanage this even more, making sure it's going to organized play stores. Other than that, that's all I've been told. So we'll see what happens there. Going to the top of the list, there was a new Final Fantasy TCG set coming out. I didn't realize this, but Gunslinger in the Abyss, which was like a $45 box forever, it was like $37.50 or something like that from distribution. These boxes are almost $70 now. Now the box has been out for, was that 5, 6, almost 7 months. But this is what we see with Final Fantasy TCG. And while the liquidity isn't great, it does have a nice little niche market now. I was extremely disappointed at Toy Fair at the Square Enix booth they had. I walked over and kind of wanted to talk to people, and there were 2 guys sitting there kind of dicking around on their phones. Now, there was a room in the back with the curtain pulled, and there were a couple folks in there talking about something. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to stick around and kind of see what was up. But they did have Journey of Discovery, which is the newest set. They had a box of that out front, and then they had some really cool Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest stuff, which I'm just about done playing through. What is it, Dragon Quest 7, which is the remake of the PlayStation 1 version that I don't know if I ever played through that or not. I've picked that up and put it down so many times because the game is it's very, very long. But Dreamlike Oceans is coming out in a month, and this is the 15th anniversary set. The price of this really picked up a lot to $55 from $37 2 sets ago. They're going to claim as tariffs, meaning Square Enix, but quite honestly, it's just an excuse to raise prices. And everybody raised prices the same across the board, so it's not like this was just one distributor or another. But I keep an eye on that because I think this one was pretty significantly underordered compared to the ones in the past, just based on the price point. So, we'll see what happens there. Flesh and Blood, I did my market video on Compendium of Wraith. It looks like things have started to stabilize price-wise. There are a couple cards that are in the $70, $80, $90 range that are new, a couple cards that are reprints. The sell-through is okay. The Antiquity Pack sell-through has been absolutely horrendous. Quite honestly, I'm at the point where I may just rip them and hope for the best and hope I can sell the Antiquity Pack cards. Now, the problem with those cards is that the player base is so cheap. Nobody wants to buy the premium cards, and certainly nobody wants to collect them because they have massacred all of the collectors that are out there. So it is probably the worst case scenario where the Game Piece Army doesn't want to buy the flashy cards, and the collectors don't want to buy the flashy cards because they've been burnt so many times. So I would have to say that the experiment in ripping Flesh and Blood for singles was an abject failure. So, it is what it is. So we move on. Godzilla card game, there is a little bit of BP03 coming through Magazine Exchange. I don't know if that's reprint or if it's a little bit of additional stock. I'm really, really interested to talk to Bushi at Gamma in a couple weeks just to see what they have to say about Godzilla. Are they going to push it? Are they not pushing it? Like, what exactly are they doing with the game? Because the game is doing reasonably well for the fact that there's really no press. There's really no pushing it. There's no advertising. There's really no anything. And quite honestly, I mean, there really isn't for Weiss either. So I'm not sure. I figured Toad would do something outside of nothing to try to push the game. So I'm interested to see what happens there. Moving on, Gundam. GD03 came out. The second wave just landed. Looks like the box price is down around $100, which quite honestly is very, very healthy. Since this is the last influx of product to the market, the sell-through rate has been extremely, extremely strong. Now there are 3 sets out. Looks like the card pool is starting to diversify. All the people who like to complain that, oh, the game's not deep enough, there's not enough card pool when there's one set out, can now go cram it. Because it looks like the game's going to do quite well. And again, I'm really interested in seeing what Bandai has to say. What are they going to demo? What are they not going to demo with this in the next couple weeks? Lorcana, I talked about this briefly. The Fable set did extremely well. I mean, the prices for the boxes are $250. It was a reprint set. The boxes since then have gone back to being $1 or $2 above distro price after you factor in fees. For a selling platform, not great. I'm still not a fan. We'll see if they reprint Fabled or not. Everybody who's a true believer is arguing that, hey, there's no reason why they're going to reprint Fabled. And my counterpoint is why are you expecting them to do something they've never done before, which means not reprint something that they can make money on. So, it kind of is what it is. Riftbound, let's see. So a lot of news here. So Alliance/Universal solicited for set 3 and Spirit Forged last week. They also solicited for Proving Grounds and Origins booster boxes last week as well. It looks like they allocated Spirit Forged booster boxes. I am assuming they're going to come out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I know there's a second wave that I have allocations from other distributors for. Ironically enough, everybody except for our OP distro. So I would imagine there is a second wave of Spirit Forge coming. The sell-through has been great. The boxes are still sitting around $190. And the thing that's interesting with League of Legends is everybody undercuts the market. And then when that disappears, the boxes go straight through the ceiling. So it's going to be super interesting. With Origins, it looks like the Proving Grounds reprint is coming the second week of March. And tentatively, it looks like that's when the Origins booster box reprint is coming. Now, I did talk to a couple of my distributors, and they did not seem to think that the reprint was going to be big. In fact, I talked to 3 different reps, well, across three different distributors, which pretty much covers everything but 2 distributors who carry it, I believe. And they basically said that they were saving this to allocate to their OP stores because there wasn't enough to push it out and cast a wide net, which is quite honestly the way it should be. So let's go. Sorcery. Nothing new on Sorcery. Gothic came, sold out. They still haven't shipped new Sorcery. It's interesting because the boxes are still sitting around $140 on TCG Player, so they still haven't gotten MSRP. There's that $150 price memory where just people don't want to pay more than that. I think what's a little bit more disheartening is I guess they had their Sorcery Con event, whatever it was in Indianapolis this week, and other than a lot of flights getting delayed due to the blizzard in the Mid-Atlantic here, I guess the creator of the game was supposed to show up and he bailed. And then he was supposed to do a live Q&A and decided he was going to do scripted questions, which, I don't mean to criticize people, but that's kind of a chicken, thing to do, especially when, you're coming off a high for the game. But, if you can't go and put yourself out in front of a bunch of fans who, want to talk to you, your game's going to fail. I hate to say it, and hopefully there's no illness or anything wrong there. That was just a straight personal decision, but it's a little chicken, you know what. So anyway, let's see. We do have Tokidoki. I just want to mention this for a second. There is also, God, I'm blind here. I'm not seeing it now. Naruto, which, okay, it's not showing on here, as well as K-pop Demon Hunters. So Caillou, who is making the My Little Pony TCG. They make collectible cards of My Little Pony Naruto that are coming over in April-May timeframe. They're also doing Tokidoki, which I don't know anything about. Apparently, it's a Korean or Chinese or something like that. It kind of looks a little bit like Hello Kitty, but I'm sure it's a little bit different. Somebody will correct me, I'm sure. But then K-pop Demon Hunters, they're trying to be first to market. Again, these are collectible cards. This is not a TCG. The only TCG they have is My Little Pony. And the Naruto collectible cards, do not confuse those with the Naruto TCG that is being developed by an Italian company in Europe. They are not related in any way, shape, or form. So I wanted to mention that. Wonders of the First. I think I mentioned this the other week, but they have a second set coming out. And I think they were trying to go direct to consumer. There was an email to contact them if you wanted to carry the game, which is a little unorthodox. I'm not quite sure why they're not going through somebody like Southern, because Southern carried the first set. They are the same folks, I believe, that make Bo Jackson Battle Arena with the on-card autographs, which is it's a cool concept. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Weiss. I did a whole video on Weiss last week just to see what the interest would be. It was decent. It got like 1,000 views, which is kind of amazing. But we have the Nikki reprint coming the end of March. I don't think there's a whole lot of that ordered because when that reprint came out, there was a lot of Weiss First out still. And since then, the Weiss First is about to hit $77. That's kind of making its final run to the giant wall of Shushu and their $1,500 boxes on distro. But what I do want to mention is the second half of the year, we're going to have a couple sets that everybody here should pay attention to. We're going to have Nikki Volume 2. And again, these are scheduled to be released the second half of the year in Japanese. They won't necessarily make it in English, but there are ways to get Japanese boxes at a reasonably cheap distro level in Japanese. Weiss, I think distro price is about 2/3 to 3/4 of what US is, so they're cheaper. I think the cases are also smaller. I don't know for certain, but they did just go from 24-box cases back to 12-box cases, which drives me nuts because for the longest time there were 18-box cases, and it's confusing. So we have Nikki Volume 2 coming. We have Freerin, the Funeral for Freerin, which is effectively a reprint of the reprint of Freerin Volume 1, which is now selling for $75. Some of the cards are slightly different, but the stamps are in blue now instead of gold and silver. So I think Bushi realized they were a little bit early to the party with the IP. Now the IP is absolutely smoking hot. They're trying to capitalize on that. And then there is a Freerin Volume 2 that is based on the second season, which is currently, I believe it's being released one a week on Crunchyroll. No ETA on Netflix in the US here yet. And then Brown Dust 2, something that nobody's going to know what it is. Nobody's going to order it. It is an app game as well, but it has the feeling of the initial Azure Lane. It is a little bit more, what's the word? A little bit less clothing than Azure Lane, if that's possible. And it was banned by Steam at one point. I don't know if it's still banned, but it was banned for a while just based on the fact that they didn't feel it was quite NC-17. Anyway, I digress. Moving on, let's talk Pokemon real quick. There's really not a whole heck of a lot with Pokemon. There is a decent amount with Pokemon. So ETBs came out this week. They're sitting right around $125, $130 per ETB. The supply is going to get eaten up super, super fast here. It just is. The mini tins came out, and then the 2-pack stickers came out. Now, what I've heard today / yesterday is that it looks like the second wave of the 3-pack tech stickers are initially scheduled for March 20th. And then the second wave of the ETBs and the 2-pack blisters and the mini tins is scheduled for 3/27. Now, I tend to think this is strategic, so they're dumping everything in the market at the same time as Perfect Order. So they're probably trying to dilute the spending a little bit to soften up some of the prices. So what that basically means is if you want your Perfect Order booster boxes or ETBs or booster bundles, you're probably going to want to buy them right around release, because chances are people are going to be wanting to buy Ascended Heroes as opposed to Perfect Order, just because it's obviously a better set. That being said, have not heard anything else as of yet. We see the Mega Zygarde here. I talked about this last week. These are Perfect Order packs. I think they're like 5 Perfect Order and three Mega 1 or something, like, or Mega 2. But the 5/22 date, I believe this is also going to be the release date of the Greninja set, which is your ME04, ME04, whatever you want to call it. So just, kind of put a pin in that, because we're going to see that release over the next week or two. So that's pretty much it for Pokemon. The market's absolutely on fire. It's crazy right now. Ascended Heroes, the pull rates seem to be super difficult, somewhere around 1 in 2,000 for any SIR, which, if you're trying to master set it, it's terrible. If you're trying to open the packs and get a great hit, it's terrible. If you own the sealed, it's exactly where you want to be. I mean, those are the sets that age the best over the long run. So moving on, Magic the Gathering, last one here. So Turtles comes out next week. Pre-release is this coming Friday. They did move the pizza bundles. I thought initially these were scheduled on 3/6, but they moved these to 3/27. And quite honestly, I think they did that, if I'm not totally hallucinating, that they actually did move it, was because since they short shipped the play boxes and the collector boxes, my guess is they needed more time to assemble more pizza bundles, because it's basically play boxes and collector boxes repackaged with a couple promos. And the promos are pretty cool, but there's going to be a million of them. So, it looks like the set is not, the sentiment isn't nearly as negative as what it was initially. Still not great, but I think the set's going to play reasonably well. I think the power level's fine. The question is really going to come down to how many tens of thousands of boxes they end up trying to push through Amazon, trying to hit the quarter here. That being said, Strixhaven, the orders are actually due today. We got those orders in. Marvel is due not for 2 months, but Strixhaven looks interesting. I did do a video, and in my video last night on market, Wizards of the Coast came out and said that as of right now, they don't have Harry Potter on their roadmap, and a lot of folks took that as, oh, well, they're not going to make a Harry Potter crossover. That's incorrect. They're referring to the roadmap that's published, which is 2026, and no shit, Harry Potter's not on there. So they basically told a bunch of Timmies to go away, and the Timmies were like, oh yeah, we'll go away. When in reality, they're not signing a license with Harry Potter to not make a Magic set, and they were a little braggy-ish, if that's a word, on the earnings call about how they just signed an IP where they have a set coming that they feel is going to outperform Final Fantasy. And a lot of, I was laughing because I watched the Louis podcast. He's like, it's got to be Pokemon or Star Wars. It's probably Harry Potter. Like, let's not kid ourselves. It's not going to be Voltron. It's not going to be any of the other IPs they sent. It's going to be that. And quite honestly, I don't think it's going to be K-pop Demon Hunter, because in 2 years, nobody's going to remember what that is. Unless, they make a follow-up movie, which is what it is. So other than this, we did get solicited for Foundation's play boxes. All the Bloomborough play boxes have sold. The churn on the market's absolutely insane. I think there's 500 and some play boxes on TCG Player with 450 sold in the last 30 days. So even though the price of those is down at 133 because there's a couple folks racing to zero, it's still selling like 25, 30 bucks a day. It's going to be back at $150 before you know it. So, if you have the boxes, hold on to them. If you want to own the boxes, now is the time to buy them because they're not going to get any cheaper than that. And Lord of the Rings Commander decks hit. I received two of my allocations I received in warehouse. The other, I'm waiting for my last allocation. But by my best guess, there's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 50,000 Commander displays that hit distribution. Everybody's oversold in every warehouse, so they're going to vaporize faster than Bloomberg Play did. My guess is they're going to start pushing a bunch of it on Amazon. In fact, I saw them do that today, just to kind of hit numbers, goose margin for the quarter. But it's probably your last chance to buy Lord of the Rings Commander. Never say never. Never underestimate the ability of this company to reprint stuff. But other than that, we are scheduled for Wilds of Eldraine set, Ixalan set coming up. I have heard rumors of Fallout Commander, Wilds of Eldraine Commander hitting in the UK and Europe through Asmodee. I have not heard any of that coming here yet. So we'll see. I'm sure Outlaws of Thunder Junction are coming. What's going to be interesting is, are we going to see a Warhammer reprint, a Last Gasp? We're going to see one last Doctor Who reprint because Doctor Who has a really, really high EV. Fallout not as good, but they may as well hit the market while they can. So, but anyway, guys, that's all I got. A little bit long-winded tonight. There's just a lot going on, a lot to talk about. So, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and enjoy the snowstorm.